Hello there, you guys. Welcome to another one of my live videos. And Manchester United have just beaten Reading by 2-0 in the FA Cup third round, and now we are through to the fourth round. Potentially goals were from Juan Mata from the penalty spot and Romelu Lukaku. In the first half was enough to give us a win. As I currently said, I've just currently watched Solskjaer's post-match interview. He actually thinks that the result was better than performance because it wasn't a good fluidity performance. As we've seen, like against Cardiff and likes of Bournemouth, it wasn't that kind of performance, that we're seeing today. Today, Solskjaer did make 9 changes into the game, as he did promise before the game kicked off that he was going to start Sanchez, he was going to start Lukaku, as we all know, as he did admit he was going to give the youth a chance as well. We knew Paul Pogba missed the game today, and I think he made 9 changes, from the Newcastle game, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he mentioned in his post-match interview we need to sort the fitness workout. There's still vast improvements needed in him, as he was saying, but he is delighted that we're through to the fourth round, as he currently said. But as I said, Reading put a good fight up today. It wasn't, a performance, that we expected from Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. We thought it'd been like a 4-5 nil game, but Reading put a good fight today. They did have the chances, did Reading in the game, to be quite, they had chances feel like Harriet and Swift and all that did Reading. So they did put a good fight up today. Romero had to make quite a few saves as well, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think, went with a 4-3-3 formation. He actually put Darmian at centre-back today. He put Phil Jones alongside him. Ashley Young played at left-back today. He put Dalot at right-back. He put Fred and Dalot in the team as well. He put Dalot at right-back. In the midfield, I think he put Scott McTominay midfield. He put Scott McTominay in the midfield. He put Fred in the midfield, and he put Pereira in the midfield, and he put Sanchez on the left, Lukaku up front, and he put Juan Mata on the right hand side. So he did make about 9 changes today. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There was no De Gea in the team. There was no Herrera. There was no Matic. Pogba obviously was injured as well. Rashford didn't start. Martial didn't play. Lindelof didn't play. Bailly's obviously suspended as well. So he made about 9 changes today. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I think like Reading had about 60% of the possession today. They wouldn't have expected that because not many teams go to Old Trafford, and get that amount of possession. But Reading did have chances of their own. But the difference was, we had the cutting edge. Manchester United had the cutting edge, because we have got quality up front, and we was potentially more clinical than Reading today. Reading, without doubt, arguably they did play the better football, to be quite honest with you. But they lacked in that final third, and they weren't clinical enough, and that potentially, was the difference. But we didn't potentially have a full strength team out. We had obviously a good enough side to beat Reading, as we all know. But anyway, we had chances early on in the first half. Sanchez had a chance that went over the bar. Lukaku had a chance that was saved by the Reading keeper. And then Reading, had their opportunities of their own. There were one incident where Romero had to make a good save. There was one incident where I think a Reading player, I can't remember, he rounded the goalkeeper, Sergio Romero, but, just lost his footing. So Reading had a chance there. And they had numerous opportunities to score today, but it's good that we've got our second clean sheet, as I said, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now that's 5 wins out of 5. As I said, it's 16 goals scored now. Lukaku scored 3 goals in 3 games now, which is very, very good to see. He come off the bench in the 2 previous games to score, and now he scored today as well as Romelu Lukaku. So potentially the first goal was from Juan Mata. It was a penalty. Potentially, it was a lovely incisive movement between Juan Mata and Fred. Lovely link-up playing combination. Reportedly, initially, Fred had scored, but it had been disallowed. But reportedly, Juan Mata had been fouled, and VAR had actually confirmed that Juan Mata had been fouled in the box. So VAR said, Juan Mata had been fouled in the box. So there was like a 2-minute debate on that, but potentially Juan Mata took the penalty and scored from the penalty spot, and that was 1-0. And then potentially, in like just before half time, Romelu Lukaku did put us 2-0 up in the game. It was a mistake from, I think, one of the it was a good build-up play, but it was a mistake from Reading. I think it was Swift that'd give the ball away. It was good build-up play. Sanchez had got the assist. Lukaku, when he received the ball, he still had a lot to do, but he rounded the keeper, kept his composure, and put it into the back of the net. And that was 2-0, as I currently said. And then went into half time. Attackingly, we weren't that good today. Reading got through the channels quite easily. They got through the midfield, quite easily. But obviously, we allowed Reading to have a lot of the possession in that game because they had about 60% of the possession. They did look dangerous when they come forward, to be quite fair. Did Reading look industrial, to be quite fair. They look good in the midfield. They look quite good on the ball. Did Reading, to be quite honest with you. And they was in our box, several times in that game, and they did have the chances. And Romero had to pull quite a, few decent saves off to deny Reading. But potentially, if they'd have had any quality, you know, up front, Reading, or any good potential up front, you know, they may have got at least a goal today in that game. But as I said, we can't perform like that against Tottenham, or we will potentially get punished, because we know potentially Reading have a poor team. You know, they haven't won in the Championship since November, as we all know. But they are a poor team. But we did win the game today. I said we still had other chances as a zone. As I currently said, second half, he made some substitutions. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we all know. I think he brought Marouane Fellaini on, so obviously he played more of an attacking position. He actually played more forward. He played attackingly more than Scott McTominay and Andres Pereira. So he played in front of them too. Did Fellaini play in front of McTominay and Andres Pereira? Also, too, Rashford did come on in the game to confirm as well. He went in Alexis Sanchez's position. Sanchez had come off as well. And someone else came on in the game as well. He'd made another substitution. He brought Rashford on. He brought Rashford on. He also brought Chong on as well. I think Chong came on for Juan Mata in the game as well. He looks a very, very good upcoming future, does that player. It was good to see him make his senior debut today, that Chong as well. But he looks to me, I've never watched him play. I've never actually watched him play for reserves, but he looked very, very lively when he came on. He looks like he's got really, really good pace and stuff like that. To me, does this Chong. But yeah, Fellaini came on, as I said. Rashford came on and Chong came on. So there were the substitutions that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made. Fellaini had a chance, you know, where he tried flicking it, but the Reading keeper had saved it. So I think there was about 8 shots to Man United, 13 to Reading. Reading did actually create more chances than us than it said statistically as well. But as I said, you know, we wasn't as fluent as we have been lately. You know, likes against Cardiff, we were good. Against Bournemouth, we were really, really good. As I said, creating chances, getting runs in behind, as I said. But we were actually struggling to do that today. We were struggling to get runs in behind. We didn't, you know, we were struggling to create real chances, as I said. And especially, you know, we were very, very sluggish, you know, especially in the first half. Sluggish, a bit slow. You know, wasn't getting into our stride properly and getting, you know, we didn't look that energetic, you know, especially in the first half. But as I said, you know, it wasn't, you know, the best performance, you know, I've currently seen. And it was like similar to Newcastle, as I said, like the Newcastle game, as I currently said, you know, we won that game 2-0. I know we won that game 2-0, but potentially in that Newcastle game, potentially the first half we started slow. We struggled to break them down, struggling to get them runs in behind, as we all currently know. I think, you know, potentially, I still think we need to strengthen up our midfield, you know, to be quite honest with you. So I still think there's weaknesses in that midfield, you know, that potentially need addressing, as we all currently know. But as I said, Solskjaer had made 9 changes today in the game as well. But there was quite a lot of chances, you know, there's chances in the game today. You know, Reading, you know, had their chances, as we all know. They did look energetic. They looked very, very good on the ball, played a few decent touches here and there. And, you know, they did get a glimpse in that game, Reading, and they could have scored today. You know, they did have the chances, as we all know. They got in our 6-yard box quite a lot of times, did Reading. But as I said, you know, all that matters is now we're in the 4th round. You know, the team just looks totally different, you know, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As we all know, that confidence is there, the motivation is there, as we all currently know. And potentially, as you can see now, Solskjaer's got this team, you know, potentially this team is playing, the player gets the ball and they see the 10, 20 yard run in front of them. That's the difference when we've got a player holding the ball, he sees the 10, 20 yards in front of them. When it was Mourinho, he'd see 10, 20 yards back instead of front. So potentially, yeah, but all that matters is we've got the win. As I said, Manchester United win 2-0. As I said, 5 wins now out of 5 following Gunnar Solskjaer. I think there's been 16 goals scored, as I currently said, and our second clean sheet now under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I knew we was going to win the game today anywhere, but we didn't have our full strength team out, of course, because, you know, Solskjaer made 9 changes, as he confirmed. He said there's still work to be done. He said I still think there needs to be improvements in our squad, as I currently said. And Solskjaer basically said, he mentioned about fitness work in his post-match interview. He said the result was better than the performance, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mentioned, you know, potentially the result was potentially better than performance. So we do need to step the performances up, and it is going to be a test, you know, when we go against Tottenham, you know, next week. That's going to be a test. It's going to be a test when we play likes of Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. It's going to be a test, you know, when we play likes of Liverpool at home and Chelsea at home. Are going to be the test, as we all currently know. Who's screaming? But yeah, as I said, there's still improvements needed in the team, as I said. But, I think Solskjaer could get the job on a full-time basis. He potentially knows what he's doing. The team are playing for him. The fans are happy. The players are happy, as we all know. And potentially, our target this season is to get top four in the Premier League. We know Arsenal and Chelsea are also fighting, for top four position. I think our target is to get top four this season, as we all currently know. And potentially, I think any chance of any silverware for us this season is potentially the FA Cup, because I don't think we'll win the Champions League. I don't think we're good enough to win the Champions League yet, because I think potentially we still need signings. I think we need a central defender, as I've been discussing with you about. I think we need a centre defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious. I think we do need a backup striker, and I think potentially, we need a winger as well. But it was a bit slow today. It wasn't that fast, to be quite honest with you. We wasn't passing the ball comfortably. We wasn't that precise on the ball, as we showed like when we played against Cardiff and Bournemouth and all that. But, we were a bit slow today. But all that matters is, we got the win. Reading put a good fight up. They did have the chances, as I currently said. And, yeah, but he did make 9 changes today. Solskjaer did say he was, going to make changes. He was going to give the youth a chance, as he currently did. So, fair play to him. He's got the winning mentality. He's got the attacking mentality. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And if we did win the FA Cup, I think he deserves the job anyway, because we've got 5 wins out of 5. We wouldn't have done this, under Jose Mourinho at all, as we all currently know. But as I said, my expectations for this year is to get us back up there competing with likes of City and Liverpool, and get us back up there competing and challenging for major honours. But obviously, we know the club are still recruiting for the full-time manager, as we all currently know. The club are still recruiting for the full-time manager, as we all know. We know Ed Woodward's number one target is Pochettino to come in to the club if Solskjaer doesn't get the job on a full-time basis. But as I said, I think he could get the job on a full-time basis. He knows the trappings of the club. He knows the culture of the club. He knows the club inside out, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he was a great player from 1996 to 2007, and he scored like 126 goals in 366 appearances, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we all currently know. But yeah, he's got the winning mentality. He likes the attacking football. He likes the width, as we all know. And I think he understands the philosophy. And he's admitted in his post-match interview there's much we need improvements, as we all currently know. But as I said, Reading today will take a lot of positives from that game. They weren't clinical enough in the final third, but they did arguably play the better football. So Reading can take a lot of positivity, from that game today. There was a few Reading fans that didn't even expect to get a corner at Manchester United. Considering they knew the way we were playing, we knew the new Solskjaer, he's doing a very, very good job for us so far. But they did put a good fight. I didn't even expect them to put as much of a fight up as that, and they did create chances. They come close a couple of times, to scoring. Did Reading? If they'd have had any potential quality about them in the last third of the pitch, then potentially I think they would have got a goal today at Old Trafford, to be quite honest with you. But I said, against Newcastle, we were lucky not to concede. As I currently said, against Newcastle, especially based on the first half performance, as we all know, because we were, we did have the majority of possession against Newcastle, but we struggled to break them down because they were sitting deep with Newcastle, and we couldn't make them runs in behind that we wanted to. We were struggling to create chances in the first half against Newcastle, and they looked dangerous on the counter-attack. And like today, Reading, when they was on the counter-attack, to be quite fair, they did look, very, very dangerous. They looked sharp today, did Reading. They passed the ball well. They did create chances of their own, to be quite fair, but they just didn't have that cutting edge, like Manchester United have got, because we've got a quality team. A lot of money's being spent on it, as we all like. Over £400 million has been spent on our team, as we all know. But I think this team's going to flourish under Solskjaer, as we all know. It's going to flourish under Solskjaer, and it's going to elevate to that higher level, as we all currently know. But I think we need signings in that Manchester United team. I don't think it's good enough to win the league yet, but to be fair, he rested 9. He made 9 changes today, so there were quite a few big names out. As I said, Herrera is out, Matic was out, and I think Matic, when he has been playing, has improved under Solskjaer. I think he's showed better distribution. He's been getting forward more, Matic. Herrera obviously didn't play today as well. Scott McTominay, I thought Scott McTominay was injured. He must have just recovered from injury, and I know he's played today, Scott McTominay, as well. I don't really rate Scott McTominay, to be quite honest with you. We know that Pereira played today as well. There's obviously been no signs of him signing a new contract. There's been rumours of him leaving because he hasn't been getting a lot of game time. Andres Pereira. We know Sanchez today. Sanchez didn't do too bad. He made a few decent runs, as we all know, did Alexis Sanchez. But I think there's areas of his game that that he does need to improve. But as he keeps playing under Solskjaer, he will improve. He actually come off. I'm sure I saw him limping on the pitch or something like that. But I don't think it would be out too serious, as we all know. Sanchez, don't forget, he has just recovered from an hamstring injury. Lukaku, it's good to see, Lukaku's getting back to scoring the goals now, as he has struggled to do this season, Romelu Lukaku, to be quite fair. He hasn't been, scoring the goals, this season that, you'd expect of him, because he's a prolific goal scorer in the Premier League. As we all know, he scored 27 goals in his first season, Romelu Lukaku. And as I said, he had chances of his own today, and he did get his name on the score sheet. And, he had a lot to do. He rounded the keeper to perfection, and it was a lovely, he still had a lot to do, and it was a lovely finish from Lukaku. But as I said, the more game time he gets under Solskjaer, I think he will dramatically improve, and he's already improving now. Is Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest with you. 3 goals now in 3 games, 2 of them from substitutes. As we all know, and scoring today as well, which was very, very good to see from Romelu Lukaku. Sanchez, getting the assist for the Lukaku goal. He also got an assist for Rashford's goal against Newcastle as well, did Alexis Sanchez. So he has been providing a couple of assists lately, but hasn't scored. But I think, Sanchez, needs more work. As I said, needs more game time under Solskjaer. And I think, the goals will come, from Alexis Sanchez. But Lukaku, as I said, 3 goals now in 3 games. Man United, 5 wins out of 5, 4 in the league now, 1 in the FA Cup. That's 5 wins out of 5, 16 goals scored. 2 clean sheets now, 1 against Newcastle, now against Reading, as we all know. But we did get a scare today. You could see, Reading were getting through the channels easily, cut through our midfield quite easily. They looked good on the ball, but they were just lacking in that final third, as we all know. And as I said, if they'd have had any potential quality about them, if they had any quality, in their front line, I think potentially, they would have at least scored a goal today, to be quite honest with you. But, Solskjaer did make 9 changes, as we all know. We knew he was going to rotate the squad anywhere, but potentially, we're playing our strongest starting 11 against Tottenham, because that's going to be a big game, as we all know. And that is going to be tested because, Tottenham are playing really, really well at the moment, winning 7-0 against Tranmere yesterday. Tottenham Hotspur, to be quite honest with you. And they've got good players, as we all know. Pochettino, as I said, he's good at growing and developing young players. But Ed Woodward is still recruiting, for the full-time manager, to come in at the end of the season. Pochettino is the number 1. If obviously Solskjaer doesn't get the job on a full-time basis, as we all know, Pochettino is the number 1. But as I said, he's never won out in terms of silverware in the Premier League, Pochettino. But as I said, he's been managing since 2009 in the Premier League as Mauricio Pochettino, as we all know. He played 18 years in his playing career, and it would cost the club 35-40 million to get him in to Manchester United, of course, at the end of the season, when we could save that money and get a signing, as we all currently know. But as I said, he understands the philosophy, he understands the Premier League because he's good at growing and developing young players. And reportedly, the media are coming out saying that Pochettino and Ed Woodward have been in transfer talks, and reportedly he's been in talks with Manchester United about coming to manage the club, reportedly, and potentially he's indicated that he wants Man United to sign Jameson for £70 million from Leicester. So reportedly that would be one of Pochettino's first signings, to get in at Manchester United if he was to come in at the end of the season. But Solskjaer did confirm yesterday, as I did update you on one of my videos, I did say to you, Solskjaer did say that it's unlikely that Manchester United are going to make any signings in this January transfer window. He also said he doesn't expect Manchester United to make any signings in this January transfer window. But I did say I think we may sign at least 1 player in this window, because I still think there's certain areas in our squad that do need improving. I think we need a centre defensive midfielder, because Matic can pass the ball, but I think he's slow. Fellaini is slow, as we all know, so I think we need a centre defensive mid. Central defence, I think we do need a strong central defender, to be quite honest with you. But today, to be fair, we didn't have... Lindelof wasn't playing, was it? But Lindelof's done well this season. Bailey was obviously suspended, so Jones came in there. Darmian was actually playing at centre-back today. Usually, actually, when he does play, plays as a full-back, but he was actually playing as a centre-back partnership with Phil Jones today. As we all know. Obviously, Ashley Young mainly plays at right back, as we all know, because he's obviously first choice right back right now, is Ashley Young, but he gave a lot the chance today, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the right back, so he actually today put Ashley Young at left back. He has played at left back, now and then, as Ashley Young, to be quite honest with you, but, Fred and Dalot, they missed the 2 previous games, before today. I think they missed Newcastle, they missed Bournemouth, as we all know. But I think Diego Dalot will grow and develop very, very well. He's only, 19, 20 years of age, is Diego Dalot, as we all know. So I think he will grow and flourish under Solskjaer. And I think the team will, as we all currently know. But I think the performances still need to step up slightly. We showed a great performance against Cardiff, great performance against Bournemouth, good performance against Huddersfield. Newcastle, bit slow in the first half, but second half it was a good performance. And today, the performance wasn't to, the expectation levels as we expected. Today we expected it to be rampant performance. Today we expected Man United to win 4-5-0, but that wasn't the case because Reading really, really made it difficult for us. As Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said in his post-match interview, Reading made it difficult for us. He said there's still improvements needed in the team. He mentioned about fitness work as well. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? So I still potentially think there's improvements needed in the team, as we all know. But I think this team is going to become a replica of what the team did and achieved under the Alex Ferguson era, as we all know. I saw John O'Shea today. As I said, he didn't actually play for Reading today. He didn't feature in the game, but he was a great player. As we all know, for Manchester United, he won 14 trophies with us. He was at the club about 11, 12 years, something like that. Nearly made 400 appearances, in all competitions. So he was a great, player. Was John O'Shea, but I don't think he played in the match. From my knowledge of what I saw, there were a few times I missed a couple of scenes because I went for something to eat and that. But what I saw the game, Reading looked good on the ball. They did create chances. We looked a bit sloppy at the back. I thought his build-up play today was a bit slow. To be quite honest, we were a bit slow today, a bit lethargic. Wasn't that fast. To be quite honest, I thought. But to be fair to that Chong, he looked very, very lively. To be quite fair to him when he came on. When Fellaini came on, as I said, he was playing in attacking midfield position. So he was playing in front of McTominay and Pereira was marrying Fellaini, as we all know. Rashford came on, as we all currently know, in the game as well. He came on for Sanchez, so he was actually playing on the left wing. And potentially, I think Rashford's mainly number 9. When Pogba plays, I think he's a number 10, is Paul Pogba. And to be fair, Pogba's been resting himself fantastically well. I know he was injured today, so he didn't play Paul Pogba, but he's been absolutely phenomenal under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I said. But today, when Fellaini came on, he was playing in more of attacking position, so he was just playing behind the centre forward, as I currently said. But yeah, Manchester United win by 2-0 today. We're in the 4th round. Seeing the other results, well, I can't remember all the results, as I currently said. We know Tottenham won 7-0 yesterday night. Oh, that was a shock. You'd have got a right price, if you'd have put a bet on that at bookies, as I said. But Ed Woodward's still looking to recruit a full-time manager at the end of the season. It's Pochettino, who is potentially the number 1. As I currently said, we know we've still got a few other managers' names mentioned in the hat. There's also mentioned to Zinedine Zidane as well. So there's been a few potential managers' names being put into the hat as well. But he rotated the squad today differently. 9 changes were made from Newcastle. He put Pereira in there, as I said. He put Scott McTominay in there. Darmian played at centre-back, as we all know. Bailly's got one more game to serve for his suspension, and then he will be back in the team. And Bailly's been in and out of the team this season, as we all know. He hasn't, really been featuring that much, but I still think he's an essential defender and he has got great potential, as we all know. Lindelof's played well this season as well. He was obviously rested today, but very, very good, from Solskjaer, tactically, because obviously he's thinking about that Tottenham game. He knows how much of a big game it's going to be, so he's saving quite a lot of the big guns, for that game. This is why I put Moreira in goal today as well instead of David De Gea. So, that's common sense what Solskjaer is currently doing. You wouldn't want to play your best team against Reading in an FA Cup match because he knows, Tottenham's going to be a very, very difficult game. The form they're in, the players they've got, they've got one of the best strikers in the Premier League, with Harry Kane. As we all know, they've got a lot of good young players in that team as well. Pochettino did admit, Tottenham basically, maybe have to sell to buy. Maybe they need another player or two in their squad to Tottenham, to strengthen up a bit. I still think they're in with a shout, for the title this season. They're in the mix. I think they're definitely going to get in the top 4, so they are going to definitely get in the Champions League for next season at Tottenham Hotspur. But we know how much of a difficult game it's going to be, as we all know. I think he's still fully committed to Tottenham. Is Mauricio Pochettino? He's still fully committed there. I think he's happy there with Tottenham, as I currently said. But yeah, good manager, as I said, but he hasn't won out in terms of silver. He did say he'd love to win the Champions League with Tottenham, as he did currently say. He'd love to win the Champions League with Tottenham. He has given us an update about Christian Eriksen as well. He did say he loves Christian Eriksen. He'd love him to commit he'd love Christian Eriksen to fully commit his future. He'd love him to sign a new deal, but he said it's currently up to him. He's got 18 months left on his current contract as Christian Eriksen with Tottenham. There's few reports coming out saying that Man United are actually favourites to sign Christian Eriksen in the summer. Reportedly, we're favourites to sign Christian Eriksen in the summer. Reportedly, he's Premier League proven, very very good player. Tottenham paid £11.5 million for him from Ajax. I think he's Danish, as we all currently know. He's got records. He's got the most goals scored in the Premier League by a Danish player. He's the first player to win 3 consecutive Danish Football Player of the Year awards as well. So that's what's been potentially being mentioned in the press. It's also said Real Madrid have also been interested in him as well. He's won Tottenham Player of the Year award as well as Christian Eriksen. He won 3 Eredivisie titles, when he was young in his prime with Ajax. Did the player as well. There has been reports coming out about that as well. But reportedly, the media coming out saying Solskjaer confirmed it's unlikely that Man United are going to make any signings in this window. He says he doesn't expect Manchester United to make any signings in this window, as obviously as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has currently explained. He's only had he didn't do so good at Cardiff. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I know he got them relegated from the Premier League. He won 2 Norwegian titles with Molde, as I said. But I think he's going to do a good job at Manchester United. It's 5 wins out of 5 now. Really, really good achievement. As I currently said, 5 wins out of 5, 16 goals scored. I still think the performances need to slightly improve. I still key areas in the team that do need addressing, and I still think we need some signings, to be quite honest, because at times today in this Reading game, we lacked concentration, we looked a bit shaky at the back at times, we invited pressure on, we allowed Reading to put pressure on us. We allowed Reading to have the majority of the ball, because obviously we allowed Reading to have the majority of the ball, to make it difficult for them to get through, as we all know. But we still had that quality to get through, win the game by 2-0, as we all currently know. But not the best of performance I've seen. The result was actually better than the performance, as we all currently know. And I could tell, the way, the style of play is definitely different under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we all currently know. But he made it clear he wants the players to express themselves, get them enjoying football, as we all currently know. As I've been updating you today about the latest transfer rumours that have been going on as well. Reportedly Man United are still reportedly interested in that Koulibaly. I don't think Napoli are going to will to do any business in this January window anywhere, because obviously the Napoli president he's confirmed as the Napoli president that they're not willing to do any business in this January window. Reportedly, Man United have already had 3 bids turned down for Koulibaly. The latest one was a £95 million bid that had been turned down. Ed Woodward has been in discussions with the Napoli officials, as we all know, over this. He's got a contract with Napoli till 2023, and he'd dramatically improve our defensive line. He'd complement the likes of Lindelof and Bailly and all that, and potentially we've still got other backup options at the back. We know currently we've still got Smalling injured. Marcus Rojo's still injured at the moment. As well, but Koulibaly would be a great major signing. We know it would cost a lot of money, but I think if we are to get a deal over the line, it will likely happen in this summer, but it won't happen in January, because Napoli have made it clear they are reluctant to selling. But as I did say, suggestions had stirred up, potentially. He responded to an Instagram post from Paul Pogba, as we all currently know, saying, "See you soon, bro," because Pogba was supporting him. He was mentioning about the racial abuse, currently that Koulibaly, had suffered, but he adapts every his game very, very well. Very, very good in the air, as we all currently know, is Koulibaly. But it would be a great, it would be a great signing for us. He's a Senegal international, and his versatility is also very, very good as well. And Napoli only paid £7 million for him from Genk, as we all know. There's still bookies, favouring Man United to get him this month, and I don't think we'll get a deal over the line this month, to be quite honest, because Solskjaer said it's unlikely we're going to make any signs in this January window. Solskjaer confirmed he was going to, meet up with Ed Woodward to potentially, have discussions about, the January transfer window, to discuss about any potential signings. So Solskjaer did confirm this as well. But we know we've been interested in also Toby Alderweireld as well. We know Toby Alderweireld has been mentioned, as we all know. He's just currently extended his current Tottenham contract until 2020, as we all currently know in the process. So it's including a 25 million release clause, as we all know as well. Toby Alderweireld said I have reservations about him. I think he's lost the pace a little bit, to quite honestly, but he can prove to be a world-class central defender. Toby Alderweireld, and his versatility is good because he can play as centre-back, he can play as a full-back as well, Toby Alderweireld, and I think he'd be a good leader in our back line. He's Premier League proven, of course, but I think if we were to get a deal over the line for him, he would be a summer signing. I don't think we'll be getting a deal over the line for him in this January transfer window, Toby Alderweireld, but I would like him. I think he has lost the pace a little bit. He is 29 years of age now, is Toby Alderweireld, so he has grown and developed very, very well. As Toby Alderweireld, but he has been a potential Manchester United target because potentially Man United were in talks during the course of last summer, as we all currently know, to get the player on the board. But as I said, there's been no sign of him signing a new contract with Tottenham Hotspur, as we all currently know. So, yeah, I think potentially he'll leave in the summer. We've also been interested in that Eddie Metellio, that Porto central defender. He's only 20 years of age, so he's still very, very young in his prime, as we all know. Reportedly, the player's got around the 45 million release clause. He's Brazilian. He's been a full international. Well, he made his actual senior international debut last year. Brazil did the player. Porto have only had him since last summer because Porto got him from Sao Paulo. And he's been in a senior team, quite a few years now as a player. Reportedly, it says Real Madrid have been interested in him as well, because I still think we need reinforcements, especially in our defensive line. I think we need a centre defensive midfielder, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, there's been talks about Eddie Metellio. Reportedly, he's got a 45 million release clause. He's still got 4 left on his deal, reportedly with Porto as a player. We know potentially Ed Woodward's keen targets are Koulibaly. Also, Man United have still been interested in Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar. Now he's another player that's only young, as we all currently know. He's young in his prime, is Milan Skriniar. He's been at Inter Milan since 2017. He's an ex-Sampdoria player. He's Slovakian. I think Inter Milan paid around £20 million for him. There's been no sign of him as yet signing a contract renewal with Inter Milan, Milan Skriniar. But he's been another potential Manchester United target, as we all currently know. But as I said, we are linked, with quite a few players. As we all know, we are linked to quite a few players. But Solskjaer said it's unlikely that we're going to make any signings in this January transfer window, as he's made it clear. But he's set to, as he's confirmed, he's set to meet up with Ed Woodward to have potential discussions about this January transfer window. As we all know, as obviously Solskjaer has confirmed, he thinks we can win every game. But he just said in his post-match interview, the performance could have been better. Reading, he said Reading played well. They put up a good, decent fight. But he did say there's still improvements needed in the team. He mentioned about fitness work as well. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he did make 9 changes. As I currently said in that game today, wasn't the better performance, as I said. But we had that quality today, didn't we? We had that cutting edge. Very, very clinical. And differences, Reading, they did have the chances. They got bodies in decent positions, as I said. And it was in our 6-yard box quite a lot of times. They did cause us problems, as we all know. And they did make it difficult for us, but they didn't. They lacked in the final third. They weren't clinical enough, and that's obviously the difference. We've got potentially a lot more quality than Reading have. As I currently said. But yeah, Reading will be impressed with the performance they put out today. The manager will be impressed, with the performance, they put out today, because they did look good on the ball, to be quite fair, but they just didn't have that cutting edge, did Reading, as we all know. It's not the best performance I've seen from Man United, but there's still vast improvements needed in the team. But we've seen a lot of improvements anywhere since Solskjaer's come in. But today it wasn't the best of performances. But anyway, we won the game. That's all that matters. And now we move on to Tottenham. And as I said, there'll be more live videos coming up very, very soon. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon, guys.